January 20th marked the dawn of a new day in America. Thanks to our mandate from the American people, we will no longer tolerate the abuse of our immigration system. President Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship puts America first. Now Congress must take action and pass this bill to close the loopholes that have gotten us here. Plainly said, birthright citizenship incentives illegal immigration. That's what it does. It incentivizes illegal immigration. Birthright citizenship strains our health care, education, and social services system. Hospitals and schools are overwhelmed. Taxpayers are forced to pay for the services of families who find a way around the legal immigration system. Our welfare system already takes up roughly 20% of our budget, and that number only continues to grow. Birthright citizenship also undermines the principles of fairness. No one has the right to skip the line and cross our border and go around the legal barriers in place. The days of illegal immigrants demanding the same rights and benefits of American citizens are over. Citizenship should be earned through a shared commitment to the values and laws of our country, not automatically granted by the mere circumstance of birth within a border. Ending birthright citizenship will prioritize the rights of American citizens and lawful residents. This reform is not about denying opportunity. It's about ensuring fairness, order, and a system that works for everyone. We can no longer allow our immigration system to be exploited. We must put an end to birthright citizenship. Those that desire to be a United States citizen must do it legally. You must assimilate, pledge your allegiance to America, follow our laws, and speak our language. Those that desire to be a United States citizen must do it legally. You must assimilate, pledge your allegiance to America, follow our laws, and speak our language. Our time is now.
So much of what I have to say has already been said, but I will say this. We should not confuse the legislation that we're talking about today and this issue with being anti-immigrant. This nation every year welcomes more legal immigrants than any country on the face of the earth. And we love to have these people who want to come here and embrace what America is, people yearning to be free and willing to subject themselves to the laws of this country. We want them to come here, and there is a process for that. So this is not about that. This is about two things, principally. From a practical perspective, this is about having laws in place that protect the sovereignty of this country and preserve citizenship for people who have come here in an intentional way, embracing all that is America. So from a very practical perspective, it should not just be the luck of being in the country when you're born that makes you a United States citizen. That was never the intent. And we can look back at the words that those who put the 14th Amendment in place and when it was adopted in 1868, what were they intended to accomplish? And what are the full context and meaning of the words that they put into the 14th Amendment? So from a practical perspective, birthright citizenship doesn't make any sense, and there's a reason why almost every other country around the world has rejected this notion because it is frankly unworkable. The second reason is the legal reason. Trained as a lawyer, you have to read the language of laws, and in this case, the 14th Amendment. And while it says that if you're born in this country, that's part of it, but you have to have subjected yourself to the jurisdiction. And those words had critical meaning at the time, and they still should have that meaning today. You must subject yourself to the jurisdiction of this country, and that is not done by mere presence in the country. These two reasons make it clear that birthright citizenship is a mistaken notion from a misunderstanding about the words that are reflected in the 14th Amendment. We need to solve this problem because in so doing, we can ensure that citizenship has the full meaning that was intended by the framers of the Constitution and even by those who adopted the 14th Amendment. This is good law, it's correct law, and it will make American citizenship be the great blessing that it should be, not only for those who obtain it legally, but for those of us who are already here and citizens and want to welcome people from around the world to make this a better nation. Thank you for having me, letting me be part of this, and it's my great honor to introduce Tom Tiffany from Wisconsin's 7th District. Tom?
Thanks, John. Thanks so much, John. First of all, thank you, Representative Babin, for introducing this legislation. But also thank you, President Trump, for setting the table for us to be able to deal with issues like this that have long sat dormant, that have had the rule of law here in America, that are perhaps not following the original intent of the Constitution that we have here in the United States of America. I'm standing here today to share with you an example of birthright citizenship and its absurdity. In the Mariana Islands, there is a loophole that you can get into Saipan and have a baby there and have it declared a citizen. Back in 2009, visas were waived for the communist Chinese and for Russians to be able to come in to the CNMI and be able to recreate there and things like that. No visa required. Well, guess what happened? You saw many communist Chinese that came and had birth there. In fact, it got so bad a decade ago that there were far more births by Chinese women happening on Saipan than there was of the local residents. This was all set in place back in 2009. So as a result of that, they're saying that they have citizenship. So think about the country that is our greatest adversary, as we are here as they are in the 21st century here, Communist China, and we are allowing them to be able to come in to our territory and simply be able to declare citizenship for children of the Communist Chinese being born on that island. That is the absurdity of birthright tourism, and allowing. Just think about the great threat to our foreign policy that happens as a result of this. So it's time to close this up. This is just one small example of how our immigration system has been used in so many different ways to be weaponized against the American people. And a couple people have said about how this devalues citizenship in America. You know who knows the value of citizenship in America? The cartels. They charge $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. We've heard as much as $50,000 for a person to be able to come into America. We should not be giving these away like candy, like is happening in the Mariana Islands currently. It is time to address birthright citizenship as it was under the 14th Amendment to the Constitution.
Grandfather came over from Germany on the boat in 1903. We have the manifest. My grandmother to Texas. They went through New York and came to Texas. My grandmother's family came over in 1845 and settled in Central Texas. If that hadn't happened, I wouldn't even be here. But folks, they did it legally. The radical left is going to lose their friggin' minds over this. I can't wait for it. They're spinning the same tired narrative, calling President Trump and Republicans heartless and cruel and inhumane for daring to address the issue of birthright citizenship. And now, 22 states are suing to block Republicans from overturning this deeply flawed policy. Let me tell you, the policy is so deeply flawed. If you've read the 14th Amendment, if you remember the time frame that it took place in, I'll give you all a math quiz. 14th Amendment. Can any of y'all tell me which amendment preceded the 14th Amendment? Any math majors out there? Of course, the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. The intent of our founders and our members of Congress back then was to make sure that African Americans got a place in America. Now, I've talked to judges, some of them in Congress that said, well, no, birthright citizenship is part of the 14th Amendment. I said, look, just because some court has interpreted that doesn't make it right, doesn't make it law. The courts and the judges get it wrong. Supreme Court gets it wrong all the time. They actually ruled that African Americans could be counted as 3/5 of a citizenship for census records, right? They also ruled that Negroes could use separate but equal bathrooms. I think it was Brown versus Board of Education. And then they ruled in Roe v. Wade in 1973, it's okay to kill unborn children. The courts don't always get it right. Here's the truth. The 14th Amendment was never intended to serve as a blank check for illegal immigration. It was never intended to grant citizenship to the children of people who broke our laws to get in this in the first place. Well, this isn't just about immigration, people. This is about defending our sovereignty, respecting the rule of law, and ultimately standing up for the American taxpayer who funds all this stuff. It's high time for common sense for us to make a comeback. We need to put American citizens first, prioritizing their safety, their opportunities, and their futures. That's why I'm proud to stand here with Dr. Babin, President Trump, Andy Biggs, and my Republican colleagues in this fight. We are working to pass the Birthright Citizenship Act and enforce President Trump's executive order to end this madness once for all. So very much depends on it. America's sovereignty matters. American taxpayers matter. American families matter. It's time to fix this broken system and put America first. I yield back.